Badge, please. It's around my neck. That's an attendee badge. His voice carried on purpose. I need your speaker badge. I'm the keynote. You're the keynote? He chuckled like the word had a taste he didn't like. This track isn't for vendors. I'm not a vendor, Daniel. Oh? You know my name. He tilted his head toward the line. Security will, too. Call them if you need to, I said. Or you can read the agenda by the door. Anyone can print an agenda. He flicked a glance at the table. You're holding up check-in. Let me through, I said. I'm due backstage. Look, he sighed, louder now. We've had issues with people slipping in. People like me? People without proper credentials. My name is on the program. Uh-huh. He turned to the woman 2 spots behind me. Next. Don't move me out of line, I said, then show the speaker badge. He smiled at the volunteer seated at the laptop. We need to keep standards consistent. Standards? My mouth went dry. My thoughts did not. Say what you mean. I've said it. He gestured to the rope. This track is not for vendors. You meant not for me. I meant what I said. He waved again. Security? A guard peeled off the wall. The room adjusted itself. Eyes away, posture busy, compassion suddenly fascinated by the coffee urn. Is there a problem? The guard asked. She's trying to access a restricted area, Daniel replied. I'm the keynote, I said. Sure, Daniel murmured. And I'm the drummer. Check the list, I told the guard. Or the website. Or the 12 emails you sent me this week. Ma'am, the guard said carefully, if you could just step aside. I'm not stepping aside, I said. I'm stepping on stage. Let's not make a scene, Daniel added. We have sponsors here. You already made one, I said. Excuse me? His eyebrows climbed as if he'd found a good cliff. You raised your voice so the line could hear you doubt me. I asked for a badge. That's policy. He leaned closer, breath sugared by some mint he didn't deserve. You're escalating. I'm answering. Then answer correctly. Say my name, I said. What? Say my name, I repeated. It's on the agenda in 64-point font. I don't play games at the door. He laughed softly, the kind of laugh that pretends to be harmless. What company are you with again? Sent something? I'm with myself. I kept my face steady. I was invited to speak about ethics. Oh, the ethics talk. His smile thinned. How charming. Daniel, a voice cut in from behind him, flat as a lid. What's happening? Marion, HR head, appeared like caution tape. Nothing we can't handle, he said. We're maintaining standards. She's the keynote, I said. Marion's eyes smoothed over me, then past me. Let's not escalate. I'm not escalating. I'm being blocked. Daniel? She asked, palms up in a gesture that loved procedure more than people. She doesn't have the proper badge. I have the badge you mailed, I said. You mailed it to me with my name spelled correctly. Let's just verify, Marion murmured. We'll handle it. Handle it how? I asked. The way you handled last year's complaint? Let's move to a back room. No, I said. Leah hovered near the registration printer, eyes sliding from me to Daniel and back like a nervous metronome. Leah, I said. You know me? I just print badges, she whispered. Let's just not what? I asked. Please, she said to no one and everyone. Vendor access ends at the exhibitor floor, Daniel announced to the air. To the people, to the invisible rule book only he could see. Security, if you'll guide me to the stage, I said. Ma'am? The guard tried again. Say my name, I told Daniel. If you don't recognize me, say what you see. I see someone in the wrong line. I see someone in the wrong job. The volunteer at the laptop coughed into her sleeve. The room's hum sharpened like it had teeth now. Somewhere behind the water station, glass chinked. I heard all of it. A low voice murmured at my elbow. I turned. The hotel porter balanced a tray of sweating glasses with the ease of a man who'd carried other people's comfort his whole life. Mr. Ruiz, I said, surprised I remembered his name from the walkthrough. See, he said softly. I heard all of it. Nothing to hear, Daniel called out with cheerful malice. Just a misunderstanding. You heard it, I said to Mr. Ruiz. I did, he replied. I have ears and I have a phone. Is that a threat? Daniel snapped. It's a memory, Mr. Ruiz said. Sometimes memories need help. Enough, Marion cut in, eyes narrowing as if her job were to strangle oxygen. We will handle this off the floor. Off the floor is where dignity goes to die, I said. Please, Leah whispered, hands twisting the lanyard. Just let it go. I've let it go 1,000 times, I told her, not unkindly. It keeps coming back. Ma'am, the guard said, softer now, could you at least step to the side so the line moves? I will step to the side, I said, and then I will step to the mic. Not without my clearance, Daniel barked. Your clearance? I smiled without feeling it. You don't own the stage. I own the standards. You own your choices, I said. And the sound of them. He laughed again, longer, letting the room enjoy it. What's your name again? My name is the reason you're nervous, I said. Oh, I'm terrified, he drawled. You should be respectful. Of what? Of the truth that's coming. Security, he repeated, trying to wrap the room in authority. Escort, don't, the guard said to him. Let's verify first. Verify quickly, Marion urged. We're losing time. We lost time when he said, vendors, I said. Stop taking it personally, Daniel muttered. It was personal, I said. You made it personal when you chose volume over curiosity. What do you want me to say? He raised both hands. Welcome, Madam Keynote? Is that the line? Say my name, I said, one last time. He stared like the letters might bite him. He pivoted instead. Next! The volunteer looked at me, then at the screen, then at Marion. Her name is at the top, she said quietly, like truth needed a coat. Doesn't matter, Daniel replied. The track, enough, I said. My chest trembled. My voice did not. Move the rope. You're making this worse for yourself, he warned. I've already survived worse, I said. And I'm not here for the rope. I'm here for the microphone. Then prove you belong, he said. I don't prove humanity, I answered. I practice it. Mr. Ruiz shifted the tray to one hand. Senor, he told Daniel, your mouth is louder than your policy. Stay in your lane, Daniel snapped. My lane is honesty, Mr. Ruiz said. Marion pressed her lips together. We will handle it. You will record it, I said. Names, words, minutes, or the room will remember for you. Leah's voice broke. Please, can we just start the conference? We just did, I told her. I stepped out of the line, not backward, not away, around. The rope brushed my hip. I'm walking to the stage. Stop, Daniel said. No, I replied. The guard didn't move. The volunteer didn't type. Marion didn't breathe. Leah didn't look up. The crowd pretended to shuffle papers they didn't have. I'm late, I said, mostly to myself, but loud enough for the room. And I have things to say. Security. Daniel tried once more. Sir, the guard said, let's verify at the stage manager's desk. Fine, Daniel snapped. We'll end this farce there. It won't end there, I said. It will start there. Mr. Ruiz inclined his head. Verdad, I nodded back. Walk with me? I will, he said. Marion half lifted a hand. This is unwise. What you call unwise, I said. I call finally. Daniel's laugh trailed us like a bad perfume as I moved past the badge table, past the coffee urn into the corridor that led to the light and the mic and the first true sentence of my day. Can I see proof you're the keynote? The assistant asked, clutching her clipboard like it could guard her from the truth. There's been confusion. My name is on your agenda, I said. Top line. Printed, emailed, mailed. Right, but we just need... Clarity, I offered. Proof, she whispered, as if the word itself might crack. A laugh sliced in from behind me. Daniel. Anyone can print a badge, he said, his grin aimed at the crowd. Or an agenda. The internet is generous that way. Then read it, I said. Say it out loud, he smirked. See? This is the disruption I warned you about. What did you warn them about? I asked. People who don't belong, he answered. Entitlement. I warned them about erasure, I said. We're both telling the truth. We just use different ink. The assistant's eyes flicked between us. Can we maybe take this to the tech desk? Take it wherever you want, I told her. I'm still the keynote. The claimed keynote, Daniel corrected, savoring the syllables like sour candy. A stage tech stepped out from behind a curtain, tablet in hand. What's happening? Speaker verification, Daniel announced. We need to confirm, the tech typed, then froze. His jaw tightened. He turned the screen toward me. My name sat there, top of the list, bold. The keynote. She's on the schedule, he said, his voice flat but certain. Double check, Daniel ordered. I did. 3 times. So the confusion is gone, I said. Daniel's laugh was soft, ugly. The confusion is common. The confusion, I said, isn't mine. Let it go, Leah whispered from the wings. Please, just let it go. Her words cut sharper than his laugh. They carried every lunch we shared, every late-night text, every moment I thought she was an ally. Betrayal doesn't shout. It whispers. You want me to let it go, I said, so it can come back tomorrow. That's not what I mean, she whispered. Just do your talk. This is my talk, I told her. You're just hearing the part they like to edit out. Daniel's smirk widened. See? Always drama. I don't thrive on drama, I said. I survive on air. You've been standing on my throat with your tone. He leaned close, so close I could smell his cologne. Say your name, then. Since you want it heard so badly, I met his stare. No, you say it. He blinked, caught for the first time. The crowd leaned in, pretending not to. Say my name again, I told him. Say it the way you said vendors. What? So you can record it for social media? He waved a mocking hand. Fine, Ms. Keynote. No, I said. Say the name you refused at the door. Say it right, he chuckled, but his voice cracked on the edge. Why should I? Because every time you refuse, you teach this room how to erase me, I said. And I'm done being erased. A glass clinked nearby. Mr. Ruiz passed by, balancing a tray. His lips barely moved. I recorded, he murmured. All of it. The tremor in my chest steadied. My voice didn't shake. You recorded? He nodded once. Para la memoria. Daniel's head snapped toward him. What was that? Nothing, Mr. Ruiz said, eyes forward, tray steady. Just memory. Do you hear yourself? Daniel sneered at me. You sound paranoid. I hear myself clearly, I said. And so will everyone else. He leaned back, crossing his arms. This obsession with names, it's pathetic. This obsession with denying names, I said, is violence dressed in policy. A hush fell over the crowd, thick and undeniable. Even the assistant stopped writing. Repeat it, I said, voice calm. Say my name. Say it in front of them. Show them who you are. He smiled with teeth but no warmth. You don't scare me. I don't need to, I said. Your own words already do. The silence that followed wasn't mine. It belonged to the room. They heard it too, the crack in the floor beneath his arrogance. And I knew in that stillness I would speak as planned. About ethics, about silence, and about the price of both. Let's not escalate, Marion said as she slid between us, her blazer a wall she thought could contain heat. We can move this to a back room. A back room? My throat was dry. That's where dignity goes to die. Please, she said, voice soothing like corporate yoga music. Daniel didn't mean it like that. He said it exactly like that. I looked straight at her. What's the policy for this? The process? The record? We'll handle it, she answered, her tone smooth as glass. Handle it how? My chest tightened. Like last year? Like every year? Sweep it, file it, let it rot until the next keynote? Her lips thinned. This isn't productive. It's not supposed to be productive, I snapped. It's supposed to be honest. Leah's eyes locked on the carpet, like it might open and swallow her whole. Her silence pressed heavier than Daniel's laugh. At least he made his contempt loud. Daniel across the room now chuckled with 2 men near the coffee urn. Vendors always get emotional, he said, not even hiding it. His words spilled into the air, hot and sour. You hear that? I asked Marion. That's not confusion. That's contempt. He's under stress, she said quickly. This event is a lot to manage. Stress doesn't invent racism, I said. It just loosens its tongue. She flinched but stayed quiet. Silence was her favorite weapon. Polished, professional, deniable. Policy, I repeated. Show me the line that says you'll record this, investigate this, hold someone accountable. We'll handle it internally. Internally is where accountability goes to disappear. She sighed. Look, I'll talk to him. We'll clear it up. You'll clear his reputation, I said. You'll leave mine in smoke. I said I'll handle it. And I said that handling is why it keeps happening. The crowd behind us shuffled uneasily. A few eyes flicked toward me, then away again, like guilt could hide behind brochures. No one spoke. No one ever spoke. Please, Marion said again, like the word itself was medicine. You don't want to cause more damage. More damage to whom? My voice shook now, but not with fear, with the weight of being done. To him? To you? Or to the mirror you refuse to look into? Her mouth opened, then closed. She wanted control. She wanted me small. I'm going on stage, I said. That would be unwise. Her hand twitched as if she could stop me with etiquette. My heartbeat's already in the monitors, I said. Do you hear it? That's truth trying to break through your script. You'll regret it, she warned. No, I said. I regret every time I stayed quiet. Across the room, Daniel laughed again, louder, tossing a joke to his friends that never reached me but burned anyway. Their chuckles joined his, a chorus of dismissal. I turned toward the stage corridor. My legs trembled, but they carried me forward. My skin felt hot. My chest felt cold. Every step was heavier than it should have been. Every breath was lighter. Mr. Ruiz met my eyes as he passed with another tray. He paused just enough, his voice a low ember. Truth doesn't fear a mic, he said. His words struck deeper than Marion's policies, deeper than Leah's silence, deeper than Daniel's laugh. They were not polished. They were not safe. They were alive. I nodded once. Then I'll let it breathe. He gave me the smallest smile, then kept walking. Glasses clinking like applause no one else dared to give. Behind me, Marion hissed, "This isn't how change happens." I didn't turn. Change never asks permission, I said. The air thickened with silence. The crowd waited, complicit in their quiet. But the silence wasn't mine to carry anymore. I carried only my name, my voice, my truth, and I carried them to the stage. The podium light hit my face. My slides waited on the screen, polished, rehearsed, safe. I closed the laptop. I'm not using slides, I said into the mic. The room hushed, that heavy kind of silence where even the air holds its breath. Good afternoon, I began. My voice trembled, but it carried. I was invited here to speak about ethics. But ethics aren't PowerPoints. They're choices we make in moments that count. Someone coughed in the back. Chairs shifted. My heart pounded like a fist on a locked door. Daniel's voice cut across the quiet. Oh, here we go. I didn't look at him. Let me tell you a story. A speaker walked into this conference. She carried the badge mailed to her, the credentials she earned, the name printed at the very top of the agenda. And still she was stopped. Murmurs rippled. Heads tilted, eyes darted. I felt them piecing it together. She was told this track wasn't for her. She was told to step aside. She was told she didn't belong. Not with proof in her hand. Not with her name in bold. A man in the front row frowned. Is this part of the keynote? Yes, I said. It's the part that never makes it into brochures. Laughter, uneasy, spread like spilled water. Anyone can print a badge, Daniel called out. Right? The crowd chuckled nervously. My chest tightened. I steadied my breath. Anyone can print a badge. Not everyone can erase a person with a single sentence. That takes intent. Intent? He mocked. You're too sensitive. Too sensitive, I repeated. My throat felt raw. Sensitivity is not weakness. It's humanity. And if being human is too much for this room, then this summit has nothing to teach. Silence again. A thick, guilty silence. A woman raised her hand hesitantly. So what exactly happened? I just told you, I said. Without names. But the truth doesn't need names, it needs ears, Daniel snorted. Drama queen? I turned my gaze on him finally, calm, direct. Do you deny it? He smirked, but his voice was lower now. This isn't the time. It's always the time, I said. And if not now, then when? When the room's empty again? When the apologies are whispered in hallways no one else can hear? A man in the second row spoke. If this really happened, it's not right. If? My voice sharpened. You heard it. Many of you heard it. You just chose to lower your eyes. Silence is agreement. The murmur swelled. Heavier now. Angrier. Marian's voice slid in like oil. Let's not derail the event. I looked straight at her. Derail? The train was already off the tracks. I'm just pointing at the wreckage. A pause. A breath. A shift in the air. My name, I said, steady now, is at the top of your program. I am your keynote speaker. And today, I am speaking not about theory, but about the cost of silence. For a moment, the room froze. Then hands clapped. Hesitant, scattered, but real. Daniel barked a laugh. Clapping for a pity party? And then, from the back, a voice I hadn't heard all day. Strong, clear, a voice that didn't waver. Proceed. Every head turned. Judge Davenport, seated quietly until now, leaned forward. His eyes locked on mine. He didn't smile, he didn't frown. Just one word. Proceed. The applause grew louder, steadier. My throat tightened. My eyes burned. I gripped the mic. Thank you, Judge. I looked at Daniel, then at Marian, then at the silent crowd. I wasn't invited to be quiet. So I won't. The clapping didn't stop. Neither did I. May I speak? Mr. Ruiz's voice came from the aisle, small but steady. Please, I gripped the podium. Yes. He moved toward the front, trayless for the first time all day. His hands shook. I don't belong at microphones, he said, breath catching. I polish them. I carry water to the people who use them. But I am tired of polishing glass and swallowing words. A murmur rolled through the room. My heart climbed into my throat. Daniel laughed, quick and brittle. This is ridiculous. It's necessary, I said. Mr. Ruiz lifted his phone. I recorded something. I did it because I've seen this movie too many times. No sound, no proof, only shrugs. He swallowed. If the room will allow, I want to play what happened at the door. Marian stood halfway up. That would be a violation of what? I asked. Of comfort? Of privacy, she said. We have policies. Your policy protects harm, I said. Let him play it, Daniel scoffed. You can edit anything on a phone. I don't edit, Mr. Ruiz said. I clean. I carry. I watch. And today I recorded. Silence gathered like an audience within the audience. He tapped the screen. A thin hiss. Then my morning came back to us like a ghost with perfect recall. Badge, please. That's an attendee badge. This track isn't for vendors. Security? His smirk traveled through the little speaker, untouched, unashamed. I heard my own voice, tight but even. I felt again the small earthquake in my ribs. The room heard Daniel's laugh, Marian's hush, Leah's whisper breaking on, "Let it go." On the recording, I said, "Say my name," and the phone captured the shape of his refusal. It captured the crowd pretending to look away. It captured the exact timbre of contempt. Someone gasped in the 8th row. Another person muttered, "Oh." Marian tried to cut in. "We don't know if—" "Shh," someone told her, not cruelly, just tired. Mr. Ruiz let the recording run a moment longer. He paused it. "There is more," he said. "But I think we all heard enough to identify the weather." Daniel's face flushed. "This is out of context." "I lived the context," I said. He jabbed a finger at the phone. "Play all of it, then. Play the part where she asked to be treated like her name," Mr. Ruiz said softly. "That's what she did." Leah's hand shot to her mouth. Her eyes shone. I should have said something. "You can say it now," I told her. My chest hurt and loosened at the same time. "Say what you saw." "I saw you blocked," she whispered. "I heard him call you vendor like your name didn't matter." She turned to Daniel. "You laughed. You wanted people to hear you laugh." He folded his arms. "This is a conference, not a courtroom. It's both today," I said. "And the jury is listening." A man near the center stood halfway. "I heard the laugh," he admitted. "I didn't do anything." "That's on me," a woman added. "I looked at my phone." I pretended I didn't hear. "That's on me, too," a woman added. "I looked at my phone." I pretended I didn't hear. "That's on me, too." The admittance moved through the rows like a low wave. No applause, no speeches. Just small, necessary truths uncoiling. Marion cleared her throat. We will conduct an internal review. No, I said. We are doing an external witnessing first. Then you can write your report. Daniel tried again. Anyone could have staged that audio. Then repeat it now, I said, word for word. Repeat it in your own voice, into this microphone, with your name attached to your sentence. He stared at me. Silence answered. It cut deeper than any denial. Mr. Ruiz's hands trembled around the phone. I'm not brave, he said. I am old. I am tired. I am a grandfather who told his grandkids to speak when truth knocks. I realized I had never knocked. He looked at me, not away. Today I tried. My eyes burned. I breathed slow so my voice wouldn't crack. Thank you, he nodded, almost bowed. I wanted my grandkids to hear what courage sounds like, so I had to try it once myself. The room held that line like a fragile glass. It didn't drop, Daniel huffed. You're all being manipulated by a sentimental janitor. A dozen heads snapped toward him. The word landed like a slap none of us missed. I leaned into the mic. He carried your water, I said. You dismissed his witness. That's the sermon. You're twisting. I'm reflecting, I said. A mirror doesn't twist. Marion's voice lost a shade of polish. We should break for 10 minutes. No, I said. We're not breaking. We're mending. From the back, a voice called, Play the rest. Another echoed, Let's hear it. Mr. Ruiz looked to me. I nodded. He pressed play. The phone poured the rest of the morning out. My insistence without yelling, his jokes without cover, Marion's "we'll handle it," Leah's silence hanging like a wet coat over everything. It ended with my feet moving past the rope and Daniel's last stop. When the audio finished, no one moved. The silence wasn't empty. It was a verdict forming. Daniel spoke into the quiet. You all want to ruin a man because of tone? I answered without heat. No, we want you to see a person you tried not to see. Your tone just made the attempt obvious. He lifted his chin. This is a hit job. This is a record, I said. A soft clap started somewhere to my left. It didn't build into a cheer. It didn't need to. It spread like rain that knows where the roots are. I turned to Mr. Ruiz. You gave the room its hearing. He shook his head. You gave it its voice. I looked at the crowd. Evidence is not an enemy. It is a door. We can step through or we can keep walking into walls. I felt something shift then. Not a victory, not yet, but the first clean crack in the defense. The air moved. The room breathed differently. And for the first time that day, so did I. Marion rose from the front row, palms open like she was blessing a meeting. We're going to restore order, she said into the mic. We have procedures. We have privacy obligations. We don't try cases in public. You had privacy, I said. You used it to smother the sound. She kept her smile tight. We acknowledge the feelings expressed. We will conduct an internal review, swiftly, thoroughly. Silently, I added. Confidentially, she corrected. For everyone's protection. Protection of whom? I asked. Harmed people or harming habits? A hand shot up near the aisle. What's your escalation policy? A woman asked. And how often do you publish outcomes? Marion blinked. We don't publish personnel actions. So none of us knows if anything changes, the woman said. That's convenient. Marion lifted her chin. We follow the law. A low voice from the back cut through the room like a line drawn with ink. And the law is the floor, Judge Davenport said. Ethics is the ceiling. Heads turned. He didn't stand. He didn't need to. Marion adjusted the mic height as if clarity were mechanical. Judge, with respect, privacy is essential. Privacy for victims, yes, he answered. Secrecy for institutions, no. A murmur swelled. Quick, then quieted itself, like the room was learning to listen in a new language. Daniel leaned forward, grabbing a spare mic like it owed him debt. We're getting carried away. This is a keynote, not a kangaroo court. She's just... Say my name, I told him. He froze halfway through a shrug. Why would I? Because I asked you upstairs and you would not, I said. Say my name. Then say the sentence we all heard on the recording. Word for word, into the mic. A hush fell so suddenly I could hear the lighting rig hum. He didn't answer. That silence cut deeper than words. "You're making a spectacle," he said finally. "No," I replied. "You made a script." "I'm making a record," the man in row 3 spoke up. "Daniel, do it. If you didn't mean it, own it and say it straight." Daniel chuckled without humor. "This is ridiculous. You want me to reenact? I want the truth to match the volume of the harm," I said. "Repeat the sentence. This track isn't for vendors. Then follow it with my name." "See if your mouth can hold both." His jaw shifted. He glanced at Marion. She looked at her notes like they were a lifeboat. "I'm not playing this game," he muttered. "It was never a game," I said. "It was a gate." A younger attendee raised her hand half-mast. "I have a question for HR," she said to Marion. "How do you prevent your process from protecting power instead of people?" Marion exhaled through her nose. "We are trained to balance fairness with confidentiality." "And when fairness loses?" the woman asked. "We escalate to leadership." I swept my hand toward the stage. Leadership has been listening for 30 minutes and said nothing until a judge spoke. The audience turned without moving. The quiet itself accused. Marion tried again. "We can't adjudicate every allegation in public." "This isn't an allegation," I said. "It's an admission on tape." "It's tone," Daniel snapped. "Tone isn't a crime. Tone is a mask," I said. "It tells the room who counts." A man in the back shouted, not angry, just tired. "We count." A few nods. A few yeses. The room wasn't a jury yet, but it was done being furniture. Leah stood halfway, then sat, then stood again. I have to say something." My throat tightened. "Say it." She faced the crowd, not me. "I heard him." "I heard vendors." I heard the laugh. I looked at the carpet and pretended I didn't. "I should have said something." Her voice faltered. "I should have said your name." The breath left my body in a slow, almost painful line. "Say it now." She turned toward me. "Your name is on the program," she said first, like she needed a runway. Then clear, she said my name. Soft, then stronger. "I'm sorry." She swallowed hard. "I am sorry I cared more about keeping my seat than keeping you human." The room exhaled as one. Not applause, not yet. Just oxygen returning to a place it had abandoned. Daniel rolled his eyes. "Oh, please." Judge Davenport's voice cut again, still seated, still measured. "Young lady," he said to Leah, "that is what accountability sounds like at the beginning." Leah wiped her face and nodded, eyes down, then up again. "No hiding." Marion seized the pause. "We will take statements," she said. "We will schedule interviews. We will follow up. With who watching?" I asked. "With what timeline? With what measure besides your own comfort?" "We can't operate under public pressure," she replied. "The public is who you serve," I said. "You operate inside their wages, their time, their pain." A man near the aisle lifted his badge. "I work for you," he said to Marion. "Not for Daniel. Not for optics. If this doesn't get sunlight, I'm done volunteering my silence." Another voice. "Same." Another. "Same." It wasn't a chant. It was a tally. Daniel tried one more pivot. "She's overly sensitive," he announced, to no one brave enough to agree out loud. "This is a professional environment." I leaned into the mic. "The sentence you won't repeat belongs to a time before professionalism, back when bloodlines set the rope. Don't dress it in a suit and call it policy." He looked at the floor. He looked at the ceiling. He didn't look at me. The silence returned, heavier now, but somehow cleaner. It didn't accuse me anymore. It cornered him. Judge Davenport folded his hands. "Policies are instruments," he said. "They can play lullabies or they can sound alarms. Choose." Marion's voice lost its gloss. "Then here is my choice," she said. "We will bring in an independent reviewer. We will publish the framework. We will time-box the steps. I will say that on the record now." She looked at me, and I am sorry. The apology wasn't perfect. It wasn't a performance either. It lived in her throat like something learning to breathe. I nodded once. "Begin with names," she swallowed. She said Daniel's name, then mine, side by side. "No titles, no cushions," Leah whispered, almost to herself. "I can't fix the morning. I can fix the next 5 minutes." She turned to the crowd. If you heard what I heard, lend your witness. Not your whispers. Phones didn't rise. Hands did. Not to film. To testify. The door didn't burst open. It shifted on its hinges. A crack of clean air slid in and touched my face. I held the mic, felt my heartbeat steady, and knew the room had finally moved from secrecy towards sight. I want the mics on the floor, I said. Line up if you have something the brochures forgot. A few people stood, then sat, then stood again. The aisle filled slowly, like courage pooling. Daniel grabbed a side mic. This is chaos. This is order, I said. The kind you can't script. A woman in a navy blazer reached the first floor mic. Her hands shook. 2 years ago, I was told to keep my hair professional. She touched her curls. I started wearing a wig to interviews. I hate that wig. My chest pinched. Who told you? 3 different managers, she said. All said it like weather. A low murmur rolled across the seats. I heard my own pulse line up with it. Daniel cut in. Dress code isn't racism. This is basic. Let her finish, I said. She swallowed. I finished every project early. They called me spicy when I asked for a raise. Thank you, I said. You don't owe us your pain. You offered it. That's a gift. A man stepped up next. My last performance review said I was great with people like me. He laughed without smiling. I didn't know my skill set came with a species. A small, grim ripple of recognition moved through the room. Marion sat at the edge of the stage with a legal pad. For the first time today, her pen looked like a tool, not a shield. Judge Davenport adjusted his glasses but didn't take the mic. Proceed, he said, and somehow the single word stretched a rug of legitimacy beneath our feet. A younger woman approached the second mic. I was told I should be grateful to be in the room. She looked down at her badge. I started leaving my ideas outside the door so they couldn't be rejected. That, I said, is how brilliance gets laundered into someone else's promotion. Daniel lifted his mic. We're turning grievances into entertainment. This is a summit, not story hour, I faced him. Stories build the walls you pretend are made of policy. We're peeling off the paint. A man with gray at his temples stepped up. My team calls me the translator, not because I speak another language, because they make me soften my words so the boss won't feel attacked. He looked at me. I nodded. Do you want to keep that job title? No, he said. I want to keep my voice. Then keep it, I said. And if someone calls that insubordination, tell them it's respiration. A woman in scrubs, how did a nurse end up at a corporate ethics summit, stood uncertainly. I'm here for continuing education, she said, but I also came for this. I got written up for refusing to put Miss on a black woman's chart when she asked me to put Ms. The supervisor said, It sounds better, I asked. To whom? The room inhaled. The room held. Thank you, I said. Keep the mic moving. A man I recognized from the coffee line approached. I laughed this morning when he joked. He didn't look at Daniel. He looked at the floor. I laughed so the awkwardness would skip me. It didn't. It sat in my throat. He turned to me. I'm sorry. It matters, I said. Apologies don't fix mornings. They fix next minutes. Daniel waved a hand. We can't run a company on feelings. A woman near the back shouted, You've been running it on your feelings for years. Soft laughter, the kind that means confirmation, not comedy. I lifted my mic. We're not trading power for pity. We're setting terms for sight. Marion cleared her throat. I am recording themes. She said the sentence like a foreign language. Hair, tone, gatekeeping, credit, compensation, sanctions. Add evasion, I said. Her pen scratched. Evasion. The line moved. A middle-aged black man, badge askew, stepped forward. My manager calls me Big Guy. My name is 4 letters. He calls the tall white guy Alex. Alex is 5 letters. He smiled, small and sharp. "I can count, sir." Someone snorted. It wasn't cruel, it was relief. Daniel tried again. "These are isolated incidents. We can address them offline." "That's the point," I said. "Offline is where truth goes to lose its battery." A young engineer reached the mic, voice vibrating. "I built the demo we sold to the board," she said. "My boss introduced it as his team's work. He gestured at me when he said, 'Diversity win,' not when he said, 'innovation.'" My stomach twisted. "I'm listening." "I want my name on the slide," she said, "not my identity on the poster." "Say your name," I asked gently. She did. Clear, steady. The audience repeated it, not as a chant, but as a ledger entry. Judge Davenport leaned toward his mic, finally taking it. "What you are doing," he said, "is entering testimony. Not against individuals alone, but against a culture that launders intent through policy and calls it neutral. You are creating a living affidavit." I closed my eyes for half a second. The phrase landed. It belonged here. A man in a hoodie stepped forward. "Security here," he said. "Not this venue. My job. I'm trained to de-escalate. Today I almost escorted you off stage." He exhaled. I thought about what would happen to me if I didn't obey a VP. I thought about my rent. I thought about my kid. I didn't move. I'm not a hero. I'm just tired of walking people to the door they were invited through. "Thank you," I said. "You kept the line human." Daniel shook his head. "You're creating mob rule." "No," I said. "We're creating public memory." A hand rose from the fourth row. "What happens after we speak?" a woman asked. "I mean, really?" I looked at Marion, then at the judge, then back at the room. "We lock the door open," I said. "We publish what was said. We set timelines with names attached. We define consequences. We stop calling it training when we mean forgetting." Marion's pen sped up like it finally had purpose. "Independent reviewer," she said. "Public framework. Time-boxed steps." She lifted her gaze. "Yes. On the record." A low hum of yeses moved through the room. No cheer, just agreement. Daniel lifted his mic like a sword made of tin. "You will destroy morale." A woman in front squared her shoulders. "Morale was never built on our silence. It was built on your comfort." He opened his mouth, closed it. For the first time today, he looked small, not punished, shrinking in air that didn't bend around him anymore. I took a breath that went all the way down. "This ballroom is a boardroom without walls," I said. "No closed doors, no whispered outcomes, no missing names." Judge Davenport nodded once. "Record the room," he said, "and let the room record you." I pointed to the mic stands. "Keep going," I told the line. "We're not emptying our hearts for spectacle. We're filling the minutes with truth until the clock learns respect." The next witness stepped forward. The chorus grew, not loud, not wild, steady. A verdict didn't slam down. It gathered itself, voice by voice, ink on air, until power had to sit in the open and listen like the rest of us. Daniel rubbed his forehead like the day had become a migraine. "All right," he said, voice low, frayed. "All right. I didn't want you here." No gasp. The room breathed. One long exhale, like a body unclenching around a splinter it finally sees. I held the mic. "Say it again." He stared at the carpet. "I didn't want you here. Why?" He looked up, eyes reddened with anger or fatigue. I couldn't tell. "Because this isn't supposed to be a fight. It's an event. Order. Sponsors. People come to be inspired, not accused." "I'm accusing your choices," I said. "Not your sponsors." He laughed once, scarred and hollow. "And your tone is supposed to be what? Medicine?" "My tone is a thermometer," I said. "It tells you the fever you ignored." He shifted, tried on his old smirk, found it too heavy for his face. "Fine. You want honesty?" "The jokes," he waved a hand. "They're how we get through the day. We tease. We test, we push. It's not racism," I supplied. "It's humor," he snapped. "You take everything so personally." I felt my jaw tighten, not from rage, but from the ache of repetition. My body is personal. My name is personal. Your jokes hang on them like targets, he signaled toward the crowd. I joke with everyone. Ask them, no one answered. The silence turned its face away from him and looked at me. He pushed on. You read malice into everything. Thin skin. I stepped closer to the edge of the stage. Thin skin is what keeps us alive. It's the organ that bleeds when you press too hard. It tells the truth when your hands won't. He swallowed, looked to Marion like she might throw him a rope. Marion stared at her pen as if it had written something she wasn't ready to read. Define belonging, I said. What? You heard me. Define belonging? He scratched at the mic stand with a thumbnail. It means fitting the culture, aligning with the standards. Not making everything about being human? About yourself, he said. About identity. Identity is not a hobby, I said. It's an address. You keep rerouting my mail and telling me the system works. He tried again. Belonging is people we can count on, who don't disrupt. Count on to do what? I asked. Stay smaller so you feel bigger? Laugh when you push? Translate your harm into something the room can swallow. He lifted his chin. Belonging is harmony. Harmony without my note is not harmony, I said. It's quiet in your key. A man in row 5 whispered, God. It sounded like confession without a priest. I turned back to Daniel. If you define belonging as comfort, I said, then I can never belong. If you define it as respect, I already do. Which one is your policy? He looked at the judge. Are we really doing this? Semantics? Judge Davenport didn't rise. He didn't need to. There's your policy test, he said, voice soft as cut stone. Write a standard that includes this woman without requiring her to erase herself. If you can't, your standard is harm. The words landed like a gavel without volume. The room didn't cheer. The room understood. Daniel breathed through his nose. He stopped. I never said she couldn't speak. You tried to stop me at the rope, I said. You laughed loud enough to make a crowd complicit. You labeled me vendor when my name said keynote. You didn't need the word no. You built a maze. He shook his head. You keep painting me as a villain. I keep describing your lines, I said. Look at them with me. Do they make a circle that includes me or a corral that contains me? He winced. This is exhausting. It is, I agreed. It's called living here. Someone in the back said, the kind of sound that carries a lifetime in one syllable. Daniel's grip loosened. The mic dipped, then lifted. I didn't want you here, he repeated, softer, like the sentence was finally letting him hear itself. Because you make everything heavy. I don't make gravity, I said. I stopped pretending it wasn't there. He rubbed his eyes. What do you want from me? Clarity, I said. Then repair. He laughed without humor. You want me to beg? I want you to understand what you've been asking of us, I said. We've been begging all our lives, with resumes twice as long, with voices half as loud, with rage compressed into palatable shapes so your lunch wouldn't curdle. He looked at Marion again. Can we take this offline? Marion didn't look up. Her pen hovered, then pressed down, as if she finally understood that ink had to meet paper while the air was still warm. Offline, I said, is where our stories go to run out of oxygen. Keep it here. Keep it named. He inhaled like a swimmer about to go under. Fine, fine, he squared himself to me. I didn't want you here because you make me feel accused in my own house. This house has my wages in its walls, I said. It's as much mine as yours. Your discomfort is not a foreclosure notice. A murmur of agreement, not loud, just widespread, like grass acknowledging rain. He tried one last pivot. If every joke is violence, we can't be human together. If your humanity requires me as a punchline, I said, we were never together. Silence again. Not hostile. Heavy then clean. The kind of silence that holds a pen out to you and waits. Judge Davenport folded his hands. Write your standard, he repeated. Make it plain enough for a young man to follow and strong enough to protect a young woman from being erased in its name. Daniel nodded like his neck had rust in it. Okay, he said. Okay. So belonging means no one gets to decide who's in by laughing at who's out. He swallowed. Belonging means you say a person's name when they're in the room. It means you don't make policy a moat. It means you apologize where the harm was heard. His eyes met mine and then flinched away. "I'm sorry," he said, the word unskilled in his mouth. I didn't." He stopped pretending about the rest. "I did what I did." The apology wasn't enough. It wasn't nothing. It stood there, bare and imperfect, like a bridge that could hold a single step. Marion finally looked up from her page. "Noted," she said, but the word didn't sound like corporate stenography anymore. It sounded like a promise she knew would be public. I let my shoulders drop a fraction. "The room heard you," I told Daniel. "Now the record will." He nodded once, twice, unsure if he had permission to breathe differently. He didn't need mine. The crowd had already shifted, jury into chorus, verdict into vow, no gavel. Just quiet. And in that quiet, a ruling formed, not legal, not binding, but moral, solid, hard to wriggle past. The kind that lives in people, not paper. I stepped back from the mic, felt my pulse slow, and let the silence write what his standards never did. I lifted the mic. "I don't want vengeance," I said. "I want repair." A rustle moved through the room, not fear, not relief. Attention. "Terms," I said. "Now, in public. On record." Daniel exhaled like he'd been holding his breath through a storm. "Oh, perfect. Demands." "Boundaries," I said. "Listen," he rolled his wrist. "Go on then, keynote." "I am," I answered. "Term 1, a public apology, here now, delivered where the harm was heard," Daniel smirked. "We did that song already." "You mumbled regret," I said. "I'm asking for repair." "Name what you did. Name who you harmed. Don't staple excuses to it." He looked to Marion. "Is this really the process?" Marion's pen hovered. Her voice wavered. "If the harm was public," she said, "the apology should be public." She swallowed. "Yes," a low hum of approval crossed the room. "Term 2, I continued. Independent review. Not internal. A named external chair. Scope. Gatekeeping. Retaliation. Pay equity. Promotion pathways. Complaint outcomes. Timeline 90 days. Findings published." Daniel barked a laugh. "Published? You want us sued?" Judge Davenport finally stood, not tall, just steady. "Sunlight does not create liability," he said. "Secrecy does." Marion turned toward him. Would you chair it?" "I will," he said. Unpaid. The room didn't clap. It inhaled. It believed. Term 3, I said. Recorded commitments, not platitudes. Metrics, dates, accountable owners. The board signs, HR signs, the VP class signs. Names, not departments. Daniel tried to cut in. "This is performative." "No," I said. "This is performance review." A few unguarded chuckles slipped free. He flinched. Term 4, I said. Named restitution. Stipends or salary corrections for those whose careers were slowed by policies dressed as tone. Back pay where provable. Promotion reviews reopened where gatekeeping is found. "That's impossible to calculate," Daniel snapped. "It's impossible to ignore," I replied. "You've been calculating our silence for years." Marion scribbled faster. "We'll need a model," she whispered into the mic, more to herself than to me. "Audit plus comparator baselines plus case statements. Term 5, I said. Promotion pathways audited end-to-end. Job postings, interview slates, panel composition, performance rubrics. Publish the deltas by race and gender across bands." Daniel shook his head. "You're trying to run the company from a stage." "I'm trying to run the company toward its values," I said. Term 6, I said, and turned to find Mr. Ruiz. He stood in the aisle, still smaller than the moment made him. "Offer Mr. Ruiz a permanent role with voice. Title and remit to be defined with him. Not a trophy, a seat. He has earned the right to be heard where decisions happen." His eyes widened. "No, I carry water." "You carry truth," I said. "That deserves a chair." He shook his head, overwhelmed. I didn't do it for payment," I finished softly. "I know. That's why you're the kind of voice the room needs." Daniel rubbed his temple. "We don't create roles for sentimental reasons. This is structural," I said. not sentimental. You keep building rooms where only certain mouths fit the microphones. Marion set her pen down like it weighed pounds. We can formalize a worker advisory council, she said slowly. Cross-functional. Rotating membership. Mr. Ruiz is founding member if he accepts. She looked at him. If you accept. He stared at the carpet, then looked up. I will try, he said. If the trying counts. It will, I said. Daniel lifted his mic. You think this performative tribunal fixes anything? You'll scare sponsors. You'll spook talent. A voice from the third row. I am talent. I'm staying if this happens. Another voice. Same. Another. Same. It wasn't a chorus. It was a ledger growing ink. Term 7, I said. Whistleblower protections with teeth. Retaliation defined clearly, tracked, sanctioned. Reported quarterly to staff with anonymized stats. Marion nodded, firmer now. Yes, term 8, I said. Training stops being theater. No more click-through modules. Real sessions facilitated by people with power to change policy. Recorded, not for discipline, for memory. Daniel scoffed. Surveillance. Accountability, I said. He spread his hands. Fine. And what do you put on your list for yourself, speaker of truth? I let the jab pass. Term 9, I said. Follow-up form in 90 days. Same room, same mics, same rules. We read the commitments back. We mark done, not done. We don't bury misses in acronyms. Marion looked at the judge. He nodded once. She lifted her chin. Yes, she said. On the record, I faced Daniel. Term 1 can start now. He stared at the floor. You want the words? I want the truth, I said. Words are how we build it. He cleared his throat. I'm sorry. He stopped, recalibrated. I'm sorry I laughed at you at the door. I'm sorry I called you a vendor when your name said keynote. I'm sorry I used tone like a weapon and policy like a moat. He swallowed hard. I'm sorry I taught a room to erase you by example. My lungs filled slowly, like they were reacquainting themselves with air. I didn't smile. I didn't rescue him, he went on. I do not expect forgiveness. He looked around. I expect to be watched. That, Judge Davenport said, is what accountability sounds like after the first breath. Marion lifted her mic, voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Independent review, yes. Published framework, yes. Time-boxed steps, yes. Advisory council, yes. Restitution model, yes. Quarterly whistleblower reporting, yes. 90-day forum, yes. She paused. And I am sorry. I am sorry for the years I named privacy when I meant secrecy. Leah stood. I'll serve on the review, she said, not asking. I'll take the heat. I have some to burn. I met her eyes. Then bring water, not gasoline. I will, she said. I will bring names and minutes. Mr. Ruiz lifted a hand, almost shy. If there is a council, I will listen more than I talk. But when I talk, I will not whisper. You don't have to, I said. We tuned the room for your voice. Daniel clicked his tongue. And if the terms are broken? If this is all theater? Then this recording, I said, tapping the mic, gets replayed in 90 days. A murmur of assent. Not threat, promise, I exhaled. These are not punishments, I said. They are guardrails. They keep us from throwing one another into the ditch and calling it a commute. Judge Davenport nodded. Enter them into the record, he said, and let the record enter us. Marion looked at the legal pad as if it had become a mirror. Entered, she said. The moment didn't burst. It held. The room stood still long enough for the terms to set like plaster, not to harden into walls, but to frame a door we could finally walk through together, watched, named, human. Daniel lifted his mic like it weighed more than truth. Look, he said, breath rough. This looks bad. Optics. That recording the angle, the timing. Optics don't laugh, I said. People do, he swallowed. The room was tense. People were confused. I was trying to keep things moving. You were trying to keep me from moving, I said. Say that plainly and save us the choreography. He flinched, then squared his shoulders. This whole thing got hijacked by feelings. Feelings are the fire alarm, I said. We ignored smoke until the hallway filled. He tried again. The recording caught tone, not intent. Intent doesn't step between me and a microphone, I said. Intent doesn't call me vendor when my name is printed in bold. He exhaled. I'm saying this room, the energy— The room didn't write your sentence, I said. Your mouth did? He stared at the floor like the carpet might offer a plea deal. I'm sorry, he said. For the optics. The optics don't need your apology, I said. I do. He paused, then forced it. I'm sorry to you. It came out crooked, like the word had to squeeze past habits. I didn't nod. I didn't rescue him. I let the apology sit there and do its own work. Marion cleared her throat, voice still learning how to be bare. We have the terms on record, she said. We will publish timelines next week. Leah lifted her hand. I'll draft the first notice, she said. Names, dates, not Q3, not soon. Judge Davenport folded his hands. We reconvene in 90 days, he said. The record returns to itself, Daniel rubbed his temple. I want it on file, he muttered, half to himself, that this whole spectacle will hurt morale. A voice from the aisle answered, soft, steady. It just told morale the truth, Mr. Ruiz said. Truth breathes better than silence. Daniel looked up, cornered by air. I said I'm sorry. You did, I said. Now we all wait to see if your standards learn the language. He lifted a shoulder. I'm not the villain you all want. I don't want a villain, I said. I want a world where I don't need a speech to cross a rope. He opened his mouth. The room waited. He closed it. That silence did more than a paragraph. A woman near the front stood. For what it's worth, she said, eyes on me, I came to learn about ethics. I learned how they sound. Another voice behind her. I came to network. I left with names. It wasn't applause. It was inventory. Daniel tried one last dodge. If the sponsors walk, let them hear the recording, I said. Let them decide if their brand prefers quiet harm over noisy repair. He winced. That's not fair. Fairness would have been my name at the rope, I said. This is mercy. Marion looked at me. Do you want to close? She asked. Or shall I? I'll close, I said. I stepped forward. My throat burned. My hands were steady. I won't fix his apology, I said. That's not my work. My work is to say the sentence I needed 20 years ago, when a hallway stopped. Me and a laugh tried to paste me to the wall. The room quieted so completely, I heard. The faint tick of the stage clock behind the curtains. I am not asking to be seen as exceptional, only human. No roar. No standing ovation. A soft, steady clapping began at the edges and moved inward like rain finding roots. It didn't surge. It didn't perform. It soaked. I let it fall on me. I let it fall on him. I let it fall on the table where policies had been folded like paper shields. Daniel set his mic down and stared at his shoes. He didn't leave. He didn't defend. He stood inside the weather he helped make and learned how it felt. Marion pressed her palm to the legal pad like it might run away if she didn't hold fast. Leah wiped her face and then squared her shoulders. Judge Davenport's eyes closed briefly, as if saying a prayer for the record. The rain of hands eased to a patter, then a hush. My chest felt light, like a door had finally opened from the inside. I stepped off the riser. Each stair took weight away. My knees unlocked. My breath came easy. Mr. Ruiz met me at the bottom. He didn't speak. He placed his hand on my shoulder, warm, careful, sure. I closed my eyes for half a beat and let that pressure tell my nerves they could rest. Gracias, he whispered. Por estar, I whispered back. For being, I walked. Past the front row with its wide eyes and folded programs. Past the side aisle where the security guard stood with his hands loose, not ready to escort anybody anywhere. Past the coffee urn that had heard too much and steamed anyway. The badge table waited like a punchline with no joke left in it. The stack of lanyards looked smaller. The rope looked thin. I didn't stop. I didn't turn to see who watched. I didn't check if my steps sounded important. I walked past the hush, past the old script, past the place where my name had to audition. I kept walking.